to his credit, including the Padma Shri, Vishwa Hindi Samman, Dr. B.C. Roy National Award and National Science Communication Award, and one state Delhi Hindi Sahitya Sammelan Sahitya Shri Award 2007, Doctor and Philosopher of Indian Culture. So he has 3 Limca Book of Record holder in CPR 10 to his credit. He is a gold medalist, TEDx speaker, and recipient of FICCI Healthcare Personality of the Year 2016. He is the president at the Confederation of the Medical Associations of Asia and Oceania, and president at Heart Care Foundation of India. He is also group editor in chief IJCP Group and was the national president and past honorary secretary general Indian Medical Association, as well as previous president Delhi Medical Association and IMA New Delhi branch. He was on ethics committee of Medical Council of India and former chairman of ethics committee at Delhi Medical Council. We are so privileged to have you with us here, Dr. Agarwal. Over to you for your session on ensuring vaccination to marginalized communities and side effects of COVID-19 vaccine. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Dr. Henna. Thank you, Sphere, for calling me here. I'll be short because I also have to attend another meeting. One thing is very clear. I will come back basically on vaccine hesitancy and side effects. Actually speaking, I have listened to a couple of previous speakers, and they said side effects are only 0.8%, 0.9%, 0.1%. I think we are not been able to communicate to the people properly. We shouldn't talk about the side effects at all. We have to talk positive. We should talk about side benefits. That's how I look at it. There is not going to be a difference between the virus spike protein and the vaccine spike protein, whether it is produced by the messenger RNA, whether it is produced by the vector vaccine. And in the case of a Covaxin, it is a denatured spike protein, but it contains a viral protein. Whenever there is a viral protein which enters my body, in one case, it is entering through my mouth or through my nose. Therefore, it is entering into the respiratory tract. Therefore, it causes local reaction in pharyngitis, it causes laryngitis, it causes bronchitis, it causes alveolitis. In this case, we are entering the same protein through the intramuscular route to the epithelial cells there and to the macrophages there. The reaction has to be the same. So if I take the vaccination into 4 parts, part number 1, allergic reactions. That is understandable. Allergy can occur to any injectable. You have B complex injectable, you have Ciplox allergy, you have penicillin allergy, you have sulfa allergy. Every cephalosporin, we give it after a sensitivity test. I think that we have to be very clear about what is happening today is every day we are getting a statement from, there are 3 different statements from the ministry letter, Covaxin and Covax, and the Covishield. All 3 of talking are differently on the allergy. They're talking about contraindication. Why should a vaccine be contraindicated at all? It has to be decided by the treating doctor. Do a sensitivity test, a scratch test, or an intradermal test. And if the person is sensitive to a particular, like we do a sensitivity test of a penicillin test. And if it is sensitive, don't give it. If it is sensitive, go ahead with that with precautions. There shouldn't be 3 different statements coming from the government. Covaxin, Covishield, and government circulars are different. There should have been one once we are saying that all the vaccines are same and we are not giving you a choice. And if the 3 pages are different, then the choice has to be given for the doctor or the patient to choose what vaccine they need. So allergogenicity, or when you say allergic reaction, that is going to happen. 1 in 10,000, 1 in 1 lakh, 1 in 10 lakh, whatever is the number is going to happen. But it will be much less than the penicillin reactogenicity. We should get more reaction with penicillin than with this virus. The second thing comes after the allergic reaction is called reactogenicity. If the vaccine is not reactogenic, then vaccine is not that effective. Vaccine has to be reactogenic to be successful. Reactogenicity means when I inject, macrophages must come in, CD4, CD8 cell must come in, interferon 1 alpha must be produced, interferon gamma must be produced, TNF alpha must be produced, IL-6 must be produced, IL-1 beta has to be produced, Th1 response has to be there. If there is no Th1 response, if the vaccine is not reactogenic, I'm not going to form the next immunogenic phase. I'm not going to have good antibodies. So by saying that only 2%, only 1% had reactogenicity is not correct. I feel more and more people are going to be reactogenic. Stronger the vaccine, more will be the reactogenicity. So therefore, Moderna, Pfizer will have maximum reactogenicity. Covishield will be in number 2, and in number 3 will be Covaxin, because this is a denatured vaccine. And reactogenicity are called side benefits, not side effects. They cannot be included into side effects, because that's what we are waiting for. What for I'm taking a vaccine if there is not going to be a local reaction? Local reaction means that my body is producing interleukin-6, my body is producing capillary permeability, my body is producing local inflammation. And if there is no inflammation, the Th1 response will not come. How can I expect a Th1 response which is asymptomatic? My immunogenicity then will not be there. So therefore, our campaign has to be that if you get side benefit, that means, and you say very clearly the side benefit, more the side benefits, better the immunogenicity of a person. But if that reactogenicity becomes over controlled, as it happened in Norway, where 33 people died, it's okay. There, then you say that if we see that you are showing hyper exaggerated inflammatory response, therefore take a certificate from your doctor. If you are already prone to get inflammation, that means those people who are uncontrolled diabetes, blood pressure, cancer, they must be tackled for a mild to moderate reactogenicity response. I don't find any reason for people saying that our reactogenicity is only 0.8%. You should only talk about that our allergic reactions are less than 0.1%. That's okay, because that's what we expect. But if you're going to mix reactogenicity into allergic reactions, that's not correct. Because a person must get local pain, must get local tenderness, must get some fatigue, must get some malaise, must get some mild fever. If fever means interferon gamma response is there. Fever can be of 2 types. Interferon gamma will produce a fever less than 100.4, and a fever of more than 101 means you should say now you have a IL-1 beta response which is causing fever. This is what we are seeing in routine patients. And up to a fever of 101 is okay. But if you get exaggerated IL-1 beta response, give them mefenamic acid, which is an NLRP blocker. In that situation, you tackle that. Don't allow the reactionary response to hypercreate, as happened in Norway, and they could not manage those cases. Those patients who are thrombogenic, those people who have a high D-dimer, they must be very careful because it can precipitate clots. The question is the selection of the patients for vaccination was not proper. So if we properly select the patients for vaccination, death is an exception, not a reality. Then comes his immunogenicity. Third, the first is allergic response. Second is reactogenicity. More the reactogenicity, happier I am. I'm not bothered about fever. I'm not bothered about local reactions. On the contrary, I will celebrate. Oh yes, I have got a reactogenicity. And remember, second dose will cause more reactogenicity. You have to celebrate if I get a reaction, not get depressed. Oh my God, मेरे को vaccine का side effect हो गया. The third is immunogenicity, and that is day 15. In day 15, I should be able to demonstrate, if I want to, as a doctor, that I'm developing S antibodies, not the N antibodies. But N antibodies, I may get it in a Covaxin because this is a full virus. Otherwise, in a Covishield, I should be able to see onset of S antibodies and CD4, CD8 cell response, which means I am responding. Definitely, as a healthcare worker, not for the public, I would like to know if it is a 70% efficient vaccine, whether I'm falling in those 70% or 30%. So if I fall on 70%, I will be more reactogenic, and I will show some response on day 15, either antibody or a CD4 or a CD8 cell count, or a total leukocytic count I'm going to get. Then I'm prepared with the second vaccine. Second vaccine is going to be more and more reactogenic in younger people, not in the older people. That's an expectation. And with that expectation, if I go, I celebrate. I think there is a hutch up going on. Everybody's talking about that. No, it can't cause side effect. It is safe. There is no question of safety or side effect. Reactogenic is not a question of a side effect. Now, if I overreact with the reactogenicity, I may develop a transient seventh of palsy. So what? So what? I may develop some. I'm not going to develop loss of smell and loss of taste because the virus is not entering my olfactory bulb. But if there is a reactogenicity, and even if I develop some degree of facial palsy, so what? Even if one of the rare person develop transverse myelitis, which is a theoretical possibility, so what? These are theoretical possibilities. Remember that if I take an actual vaccine, then I will get much severe neurological reaction than I'm taking a vaccine. That's the way we are moving. That's the way Confederation of Medical Association of Asia and Oceania is moving. And that's the way Indian Medical Association is moving. The way there is a fear in the mind of the people, that's because we are not coming back and we have to come out with a forcible statement. And that forcible statement is, I think my number is coming for vaccination day after tomorrow. I am going to make a complete video and come out with that if I develop a fever, I am going to celebrate in the video and say, hey, go. I've got a fever, I have a reactogenic, that means I'm responding to the vaccine. So instead of saying no side effects, we should talk about no allergic reactions. So all our side benefits, side effects are zero. Other side effects which we are talking about are actually side benefits. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Dr. Agarwal. That was interpreted so beautifully. And while you were breaking the myths around the side effects of the vaccine, which are actually that a vaccine has to be reactogenic, and reactogenicity is good and healthy, and more the side benefits, better the immunogenicity. So that was so beautifully interpreted. Thank you so much. And I think these kind of awareness needs to seep into the all of us, so that we are better prepared, and this hesitancy is also kind of addressed. Thank you so much, Dr. Agarwal, for being
with us. I can be excused because I have another meeting.
Certainly, sir. We would have wanted you to respond to certain queries. If there are specific queries, we would want,
they can do it now.
Just one or two quick queries to sir, if there are any. No. Does anybody want to pose any direct question, urgent question to Dr. Agarwal since he is leaving? So we can go ahead with the program, and then maybe we can
Thank you very much.
some of the questions. Thank you so much, Dr. Agarwal.